I didn't really play many new games in 2016, main reason being I didn't upgrade from Xbox 360 till just a few months ago, but there are some upcoming games that have been on my radar for quite a while. Fun fact about this list, when I first started putting it together, The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15 were both on it, but were taken off when they were eventually released before the list completion, and I actually already own both games. I've also been streaming The Last Guardian every now and then over on my Twitch channel, so check that out and leave a follow if you'd like, shameless self-plug. And with that out of the way, here's the top 10 upcoming games I'm excited to play. Admittedly, I'm not exactly the biggest Castlevania fan in the world, the only ones I've played being one of the GBA titles and the very lackluster Lords of Shadow. But when I heard about former Castlevania series producer Koji Igarashi's new project, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little excited. The spiritual successor to the Metroidvania-style Castlevanias like Symphony of the Night, Bloodstained is introduced with a stylized 2.5D perspective similar to the classic games, and even brings back longtime series composer Michiru Yamane to add some more nostalgia to the entire project. Protagonist Miriam dons an enchanting, unique, and visually appealing design, but there are some worries. Early demos and work-in-progress videos show animations that appear to be somewhat slow and clunky, but it'd take quite a lot for this to suffer the same fate as something like Mighty No. 9. With about a year left until release, many changes in direction are possible, but this looks to be promising so far nonetheless. The first of a few indie games I stumbled upon last year, Moira, or Mira as I guess it's pronounced, is an 8-bit action platformer by Owner Grove Studios with lots of charm and very enjoyable gameplay. You take on the role of Rubik, an apprentice magician on a mission to find his missing mentor. The key gameplay feature is a Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards-esque ability combination system. For example, the beam spell plus the sword creates a boomerang. There's currently a demo available on Steam, and it's definitely a great time. Owner Grove Studios has a very good thing in the works, and come 2017, I have confidence that Mira will be a new favorite for sure. The temptation to get a Switch is pretty real at the moment. Being a Zelda fan for a decent amount of time, if I needed a reason to get the Switch, Breath of the Wild would definitely be it. The first new major Zelda game in 60 years looks promising to say the least. While the huge open world may worry those who feel that open world games are becoming stagnant, the depth and life the new world seems to show should calm even the most critical of skeptics. The beautiful vibrance of the graphics and colors seem to contrast well with an apocalyptic story that seems to hold even darker tones than Twilight Princess had. At the moment I'm on the fence about getting a Switch, but Breath of the Wild just might be worth it all on its own. The second indie game on this list, Chasm, is a 2D Metroidvania-like game developed by BitKit Inc. In Chasm, you play a young soldier named Dalton who is sent to investigate a small mining community which has mysteriously fallen silent. The old-school pixel art is fantastic, the environments are extremely well done, and the gameplay is difficult but incredibly satisfying. With no official release date in sight and being in development for around 4 years, the wait may still be long, but I believe it'll be well worth it in the end. The last indie game on here is a big one. Pray for the Gods, developed by Nomada Studios, wears its inspiration on its sleeve, and that's not a bad thing. Set in a never-ending winter landscape, you arrive to slay the very god you believe in. Mainly inspired by Shadow of the Colossus, Pray for the Gods also adds many more gameplay elements to its arsenal. Survival, looting, scavenging for food, finding shelter, and dodge-heavy combat with smaller enemies, Pray for the Gods wasn't content with just being a Shadow of the Colossus clone. It expanded and demanded a name of its own. Currently set for a late 2017 release, with all this game seems to offer, it certainly can't come soon enough. What the ever-loving fuck is this game? After having the much hyped Silent Hills cancelled and breaking off from Konami, crazy man Hideo Kojima announced that he is once again working with The Walking Dead star Norman Reedus on a new project, eventually unveiled as Death Stranding. Very little is known about the game at the moment, but Kojima has stated that it will be an open-world game with action game elements. What that means, I have no clue. Hannibal star Mads Mikkelsen is set to portray the game's primary antagonist, and with a setting that appears to show a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by war, oil, and pollution, Death Stranding is a game to keep a very watchful eye on, even if it isn't scheduled to come out until sometime before 2019. And this is where the list gets difficult. These next 4 games were tricky to put in order because of how excited I am for all of them. And they're all without a doubt day 1 purchases for me. But one of them had to be number 4, so we'll start here. NieR Automata, developed by Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising developers Platinum Games, is a sequel of sorts to the original NieR, which was a very strange game but has amassed a sort of cult following over the years. Series creator Yoko Taro, producer Yosuke Saito, and composer Keiichi Okabe all returned to their respective roles, and god damn it, this game looks fantastic. Incredibly fast and satisfying gameplay, a beautiful post-apocalyptic world, and wonderful character and enemy design. This unexpected sequel may not please everyone, but after playing the demo, it has me on the edge of my seat ready to sprint out the door on release day to get my copy as soon as humanly possible. And here we come to the main reason I decided to go for a PS4 instead of an Xbox One in the first place. Created by Killzone developers Guerrilla Games, Horizon Zero Dawn takes place in a land overrun by robotic creatures. You'll use range attacks, melee weapons, and stealth tactics to overpower the machines for loot and other upgrades. Aloy can also hack certain creatures, turning them into makeshift vehicles or traveling companions. The gameplay reminds me of a sort of more polished take on the recent Tomb Raider reboot, with some stealth elements and heavy focus on ranged combat. As the release date draws closer, hype levels continue to rise, and I cannot wait to get my copy of Horizon Zero Dawn. Picking up Mass Effect 2 on a whim and absolutely loving it, I was thrust into the Mass Effect universe and never wanted to leave. With 3 games and tons of DLC which added even more hours of gameplay, I absolutely fell in love with the series, and while I didn't enjoy all 3 games equally, the story, lore, and gameplay stuck with me and left me wanting much more. In comes the very unexpected announcement of Mass Effect Andromeda. Starting completely fresh with brand new faces, it'll be difficult to leave the Normandy team behind, but hopefully these new characters can prove themselves to be just as good, if not better. Aboard the starship Tempest, you control Sarah or Scott Ryder, siblings whose mission as Pathfinders is to find and colonize new planets for the human race. With a huge open world to explore, here's hoping that this new addition to the universe can capture the charm and depth of the originals. And taking my number 1 spot, the sequel to my favorite game of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2. Holy shit. Long rumored but never truly expected, the announcement for Red Dead 2 was a very welcome surprise. Not a whole lot is currently known about the game, but there's various theories. A few being that it's a direct sequel to Red Dead Redemption, set even closer to the final days of the Dying West, or alternatively, a prequel possibly showing John Marston's days with Dutch's gang. There's rumors of an October release date, but nothing official has been announced as of yet. The trailer shows off a fantastic looking world, and as more information comes out, my hype levels will continue to rise. I can't fucking wait. And there we have it. There's always a chance that one or more of these games will flop hard, or at the very least be mediocre, but my hype levels are currently in orbit and I can't wait to play every single one of these. Let me know what games you're looking forward to in the comments if you'd like. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.